you came to this country in 2016, right?
That's correct.
And you got right into the real estate business pretty much 2 years after you've been here. Was it?
Yeah, 4 years after I moved here to Texas. I came in 2016. I worked for a couple of companies as a project manager and estimator for commercial jobs, projects, construction. And then I opened my company, started remodeling, fixing and selling houses. And then on 2020, when COVID hit, is when my broker asked me to, hey, why don't you get your license? I'm opening my office. I need help. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and take it. And
Nice,
I love
nice. And so it sounds like you're having a lot of success and you're coaching people now, right?
Yes, that's correct. I do mentorship and coaching on my office. We recruit a lot of new agents. Uh, Basically, I would like to say 85% of the agents in our office is are new agents. So I'm one of the coaches. I'm giving classes. I have my team under me. I have like 4 agents directly on my team. I'm coaching them, mentorship. I take them to the field with me, to my meetings. Even though I do more commercial than residential, I take them to the commercial meetings because even though it's not residential, they still learn from the meetings and everything. So yeah, that's part of what I do in my.
Right. Cool, man. And what qualities? So, like, one of my questions I always like to ask agents who have kind of figured things out, what are qualities that you believe make up an effective real estate professional?
Discipline. Everything come to discipline. I'm pretty. I am emphasize a lot being disciplined, not even motivated, because I don't feel motivated the same every single day when I wake up in the morning. There's a
Right.
lot of times that I want to stay sleeping, but I have something to do and I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, whether I want it or not, I feel it or not. So everything that I'm telling my agents, hey, you gotta be disciplined, you gotta do what you need to do, find your niche and go for it. Um, because everything that you do falls back on you. Whatever are your results is because whatever you did in the past. So you gotta be really disciplined. After that, everything is gonna fall in place.
Right. Because discipline is what really sticks around. I think like motivation is just kind of temporary.
Yeah.
It's good to get motivated to get ideas flowing and to get things going, but for you to really maintain a business, it's going to take discipline, right?
Yeah, because I mean, we always have really good days that you wanna do everything and you feel that you can do everything in the world. But there's some days that you don't feel doing anything. But that's the day that you need to get, hey, okay, I don't feel it, but I have to do it because I'm thinking of my future. I'm thinking of my career, my business. At the end of the day, this is my business, what I'm doing. So I have to do it for myself. If not, nobody's gonna is gonna come and do it for me.
Right. So I guess that kind of rolls into my next question is what would you say is the way you create your client base?
Um, I've been on sales since probably when I was 15 with my dad. My dad is a business guy too. He used to sell security system, access control, fire alarm systems. So I've been going to meetings with him all the time, and I kind of get the sale feeling early on. And so I would like to say 90% of my business right now is referral based. But I do a lot of cold calling. I try to dedicate at least 1 or 2 hours daily to cold calling, either residential buyers, sellers, and commercial. I do a lot of networking events. That's another of my biggest source of business. Um, but I know not everybody works the same. I know people they don't like doing networking. I had a few agents that they don't like doing networking, but they like doing cold callings. My network is probably 90% referrals.
Right. But it sounds like you built that referral base from doing those actions that you spoke of, you know, like those referrals didn't just start coming through the door as soon as you got licensed, right?
Actually, yes.
Well, let's say to the magnitude that they are now. Would you?
Yeah. But actually, I did has my first deal waiting for me to get the license so I can start talking real estate and I can start actually the transaction.
Sure.
But again, yes, that was coming from when I was doing construction that I was getting those referrals. Fun
Right.
story, fun story. Doing cold callings before I didn't know anybody when I moved here to Texas, probably just one person. So I have to make my way in the market. So when I had the construction company, I wanted to land one company, which it was a big account. And I was looking for that business because I knew they were big. So I called the first time and they kind of ignore me. This is another vendor, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to ignore them.
Right.
So I called the second time, and I heard the guy telling the person that got the call, "No, I'm not available." And I'm like, "You are right there. I just heard you." So I told the lady, "I just heard that he's right there at the office. He doesn't want to answer the call. Just let him know that I'm gonna be calling every Monday at 11 in the morning until he give me a meeting. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but expect my call on Monday." So I was calling every Monday, 11 in the morning, like
I'm going to change my number now.
huh? Uh,
He's going, I'm going to change my number now, right?
no, I was calling the office, so there's no way
I'm just,
around. You either
I'm
quit
just
or
yeah. That's funny, man. That's tenacity right there, man. You told him, "Look, I am going to keep calling you until you give me the time of day." And
yes.
let me guess, he gave you the time of day.
I land the account. It took me 3 months calling every Monday morning, 11 in the morning, and I actually did a lot of work for them, so it worked.
Wow.
That was my first big account that I did it that way, and that's after that everything started
And
falling.
how many real estate deals turned into that account? So what'd you say?
No, that was when I was doing construction.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was for the
But,
construction company.
but that would you say that tenacity that you brought in the construction world that translated into your real estate world, and now you bring that same tenacity, huh?
Definitely. Something that I tell my agents when they're building the database and they don't have any experience on sales on anything, even though that I'm experienced on sales and I start building my network before on the construction, I am closing deals right now. For example, I'm closing 2 deals for the same person that I start doing other business with them in 2018, and then they came back on 2019. They came back on 2020 for some construction. I told them, "Hey, I'm not doing construction anymore. This is what I'm doing right now."
Mm,
In August, they called me because they wanted to start flipping houses, so they wanted an orientation on flipping houses. And boom, here we are. Where I'm selling his house and we're buying a new house and doing a lot of other stuff. So it takes time, but if you keep discipline doing what you need to do, business.
absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And now, Sergio, would you say you're an introvert or an extrovert, or did you change from one to the other?
I have my time that I'm introvert, but most of the time I'm really extrovert. All over the place. I can talk to a stick in the wall.
Yeah, so you're a conversationalist, you're good at what you do, and you
Yeah,
love just talking, and that's probably part of the reason why you got in the business, right?
yeah, I love talking to people. I love talking to people. Definitely.
And what's been one of your favorite selling experiences in the industry?
Mm, let me see. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
I
great one,
mean,
isn't it?
all the
Like
transactions
this could
are very.
this could be not necessarily monetary. This could be maybe you helped a family in need, or you maybe you saved the day. You had the Superman logo on your chest in this deal. You know,
Well,
what kind of,
you know
what do you
what?
think?
You know what? Actually, it's not my transaction, but it's for one of my agents that I. He took me to the listing appointment, and I did pretty much. I took over for him. He's brand new, and this seller, he's pretty picky. Let me say, he think he knows a lot, and he tried to for sale by owner the house. So when I step in, I'm talking to my agent first. I'm telling him because that was when the market slowed down already. It wasn't in the craziness of COVID. So the market has changed, but the seller's still on COVID prices, right? So I told my agent, hey, this is gonna happen. A, B, C, D, E is gonna happen this way. So I'm gonna talk to the owner. This is what's gonna happen, and he was like, he didn't believe it too much. Okay, I talked to the seller. We agree. He wanted one price. I told him, hey, that's not possible anymore. We need to come down because I want to create this situation so I can sell your house for top dollar. Um, he didn't agree. He wasn't okay, but he agreed to put the house on the market. We put it on the market. We put the house on their contract and we get the repairs back. It was almost a fixer upper house. And we when I go back, I'm like, hey, they're asking for these repairs. It's about $20,000. I would like to say let's go ahead and take it because if we put the house back on the market, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna raise red flags, and people is gonna lowball me even more. So instead of losing 20,000, you're gonna lose 45,000 on the sale. He didn't want it to do it. He canceled the contract, and then we put it back on the market. My agent started getting the offers and everything. Man, he told me, "Oh my God, you was so right. Everything has been happening the same, exactly the same way you told me." And
Right.
I was like, "I told you, I'm studying the market all the time. I'm on top of the market, so I can tell you." So that was kind of funny that everything happens the way I said. I told him.
It's that crystal ball moment where you kind of call something out, and then you're like, they look at you like, wow, this guy's, you know,
Uh,
got a second sense or sixth sense, right? So, Spider-Man with the real estate, you know?
so that was kind of fun. Unfortunately for my seller because he literally leave money on the table, but it was fun that.
Yeah, and honestly, I like your answer because most people would have taken that question and said maybe uh, a more positive experience. But with this, yes, it didn't work out for the seller, but it let you know personally that I know what I'm doing.
That's
Like, and and if you don't believe me, you can go talk to my client over here. He did it, right.
it can give you a really good feedback of the crystal ball.
Right. So, I mean, let's lead into that. I mean, is that one of your favorite parts of working in real estate, or what is one of your favorite things about it?
My favorite part is actually commercial. I'm a numbers freak. I love math and dealing with numbers. Right now,
You want to be a loan officer?
no,
I'm just joking.
no. But actually, now that you say that real quick, in order for me to become a really good real estate, I'm not studying real estate. I'm studying finances because if I know how to deal the finance on the transaction, I'm able to help the client better. Because I am the first contact between the buyer with the buyer or the seller. So I'm becoming a really good into finances and lending and commercial creative financing, raising capital, all the stuff. So yes, I have to pretty much be close to being a lender.
Yeah. Well, we can have a conversation off air, but there's a program that I think you really like that my company offers. So we'll talk about that later. Uh,
Okay.
what questions do you ask clients to really make sure their needs are met? So, like with this guy, you were asking him some questions at the beginning, and then you had to kind of snap him back into the reality of it. So, what do you feel like the questions are really important to ask clients right up front?
I try to get to the why they want to sell, why they want to buy. If you get to the why, you're gonna get the answer. So I start asking qualifying questions. Um, what are you planning to do with the money? If they're gonna buy another house, why do you want to move to the other house? I try to get to the real why. For example, the one that I'm selling right now, he's moving to a house. He's upgrading the house. He's upgrading the monthly payment. But in reality, he's cashing out and he's taking down some debt. He's gonna save some money, and then 5 to 7 years down once again, he's gonna have close to $100,000. Now he can start flipping houses. So he's building his strategy 5 to 7 years down the road. Uh, Before we were gonna refinance, when I saw the numbers, even though I wasn't taking anything on the refinance, I went to the numbers and I explained him, hey, this is what's going on. This is the scenario number one. This is scenario number two. This is scenario number three. Pick your poison. and and I get to the why that way. So right now I'm selling the house. We're buying a new one. He's paying down his debt. He's saving some money, and then getting ready for 5 7 years down the road refinance and cash out again.
Perfect. So really you try to find out their why so that you can understand what their goals are and what really the client needs, because one might need money, one might need just, hey, we just want to get a house for grandma. You
Yep.
know, like, you don't know if it's a transactional thing or if it's a emotional thing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even argue a spiritual thing at the end of the day, because when it gets emotional enough, it's really can go up there. So I think, yeah, asking why is the big cheese, so to speak.
And that you mentioned right now, if it's a transactional transaction or an emotional transaction, is very important because you need to learn how to read the client. Um, because the way they are looking at the transaction is the way that you need to talk to them. You need to, let me say, sometimes you need to sugarcoat some stuff that you tell the client if they're too emotional, so they don't get their feeling touched or you don't say the wrong thing. They get into conclusion based on feelings and not on facts, and then you can potentially lose the client and the transaction. So that's
Right.
important, getting to that why.
Yeah. And I think people don't really understand that until they're actually in a deal like that, because we've all been, if you've been in the industry long enough,
Yeah,
you run into those kind of deals where it's just all emotional roller coaster.
yeah.
And so I think preparing for it at the beginning and having the right mindset and identifying it, you can do a lot better during those deals. You'll be a lot more successful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. And so, kind of segue off, but so I mean, you've been doing this for 2 years. Are your parents still around? Are they living in?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they live in Puerto Rico.
Okay. I didn't want to ask this question without asking that first. What would they describe that you do?
Well, I have my mom. She's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't like from the get go when I went on my own, and she was like, "Hey, go get a real job, stabilize,
Mm-hmm.
get on your feet, and then go for your business." Of course, I didn't listen to it. And then my dad, I cannot relate my dad having a job. He's been a freelance his whole entire life. So I saw both sides. They're not together. They divorced when I was 2 years old. So
Mm.
I was really able to differentiate the two energies in with my parents, and I picked my choice, and I don't regret it.
Have you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
4 times.
Yes. Amazing. Amazing. I have the whole series over here, but
Yeah.
story resonates with so many similarities with that
Yes.
story.
Yeah. That's exactly. And actually, my dad was telling me a lot of the stuff that when I was reading the book, I was like, damn, I've heard this before. I've heard this before. I've
Yeah,
heard
I've
this
heard
before.
this from my pops.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's a fantastic book. If anyone hasn't read it, it got me into the real estate world. It really opened my eyes to get out of. I read it my first time reading it. I was an electrician, so uh,
Okay.
that kind of made me go, man, I need to be a little more entrepreneurial in my life.
Actually, electricity is my major and my career.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm an electrical engineer.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, it's a very intense world, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't for me. I love real estate. So so let's say this. So you started, your goal was, I guess, originally to be an electrician. I'm sorry, electrical engineer, correct? So were you 18? Where were you when you were 18 years old?
So I knew what I wanted to do on college when I was probably 16, 17, but I did was very clear what I wanted to do in my life when I was probably in ninth grade, junior high school. So I was like, I'm gonna go to college. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm going to college. I'm gonna move to United States. I didn't know where, but I just knew that I wanted to move to mainland, and I'm gonna work 3 to 5 years, and I'm gonna open my own construction company. So I had that very clear from the get go. So I did my college. I worked in a company here for probably 2 years, and then I opened my own construction company. Later down the road, I always said that I wanted to. I now I know it's developing housing and commercial real estate, but I knew that that's what I wanted to go and do. Now I know how they call it here, which is development, which
Right.
is what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. And so to finish that out, what would you say to your 18-year-old self if you could give yourself some advice? If the Sergio you are now could go back to you as an 18-year-old kid, time machine, whatever you want to say, and what would be the advice you'd give that 18-year-old Sergio?
I would like to say to get more into reading and listening books out of college. I will definitely repeat my college life 100%. Even though I'm not practicing engineering, it did give me a lot of training on what I'm doing, problem solving, because in reality, we are in the people business. We're solving problem to people. We're not selling real estate. We're solving problem. So I
Right.
got that from my college years, and I would like to say to start investing earlier in my life, small investment, and getting more into books. Right now, I'm pretty big into books. I do probably one book a week.
Wow. That's good. Yeah, that's fantastic. So that's a perfect segue to the next question. If you were to write a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
And I would like to say something like Rich Dad Poor Dad, something similar to that, motivational, salesy. I would
Mhm.
like to say
What would be your topics though? I mean, what would be your main message?
how to deal with people.
Very
That's what I tell my agents all the time. How to deal with people, to learn people's behavior, because if you learn how to do that, you're going to be able to ask the right question to qualify the client to be able to solve their problems. If you're not able to get the why, you're not going to be able to solve their problem. You're going to make business, but you can do a lot more if you know how to deal and work with people without getting on your feelings. So it will be on that topic.
Okay, awesome. And what would the title of that book be called? Do you know? I'm just messing with you.
To get a lot of attention, I hate people.
Okay. And so, what would be one thing that, during your time through business, what's something that you didn't expect to happen? What's one thing that threw you off, or when you got into real estate and commercial, like what threw you off completely and maybe you had to adjust on that?
Uh,
Or it could even be in your electrical, engineering degree.
well, in my career in general, I was not expecting doing real estate per se. That really threw me off the tracks, but it threw me to the right tracks because believe me, I love what I do. I would like to say maybe into the real estate and what I do is on the training side that sometimes people don't value your time, people don't value your knowledge that you're giving them. That because you make it look easy, they believe it's easy, so they believe your time is not value. When in reality, it's a lot of hours that we have put into it, a lot of work that we have put into it, and then taking my time that I can be doing money making activities to teach somebody else that is not making anything to my business. So I
Right.
think that one kind of was a little bit disappointing, but I still doing it. I love what I do.
And would you say that that time management is like a myth in what, people think you do? Like that people view it as you don't have to put a lot of time into real estate. Do you feel like that's a myth?
Yeah, it is. And actually, one of my friends told me something like that. He was like, it's easy for you. You're sleeping in all the time. You can take off whenever you want. Uh, and I was like, dude, yeah, I'm waking up late. I might be waking up late, but you have no clue all the work that I'm putting in. You're just kicking tires around. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, you're gonna get it. Next day, I call him at 1 in the morning. Hey, man, what are you doing? Oh, man, I'm sleeping. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that I'm working right now in the computer and I have probably like 2 hours more in. I just
Yeah.
wanted to let you know.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you wake up early, but when do you stop? Right?
Exactly.
Like maybe I wake up a little later, but I'm working till 11 at night. You
Uh,
know, am I
Saturday,
more
Sun-
productive? You know,
Saturday
it's
and
about
Sundays.
right. To me, I'm a believer that, people say, oh, you need a work-life balance. I'm just more of the type that's my life is my work. My work is my life. I enjoy what I do. And so I create that, synergy. Of course, I gotta, take care of family, take care of things outside of maybe what I call my career, but I still integrate. I'm always looking for opportunities to say, what can this situation be? Like if I'm at a park, right, and I'm just taking the dog for a walk, if I see people out and they're talking and I see a big group of people and I'm like, how can I use this moment to further my career? Maybe I go up to them and say, hey, what do you do? Introduce myself, give them my card, talk to them about real estate. You never know, right? That's just a small example, but I'm a believer of the intertwined uh, business and life, not really separating the two.
Hmm. Yeah, like you say, I love what I do and I do what I love. So I'm never working, even though I'm working.
Right.
And I don't believe that balance thing. If you want to be successful, you have to be unreasonable.
Yes.
No way around. You don't see, and I look up to these really highly successful people. They're not reasonable. They're really unreasonable, and that's why they got where they are because no, it's all or nothing for them.
Right. It goes back to what I love about Grant Cardone. He always says, be obsessed or be average.
Exactly. I have read all his books. That's one
Yeah,
of
he's awesome.
yep.
He's a he's a little wild sometimes, but I love it. I love his energy. I love his, he's
Yeah.
off the cuff. He's not reasonable, like you said. It's, definitely love the energy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot of great pieces in place, but what are some challenges you're facing in your business right now? And what are you doing to kind of overcome those?
Uh, the business that I was on construction is a little bit different, and I would like to say more stable um than real estate. And what I mean by that is that in real estate, if you get distracted for a minute and you look to the side, when you look back, uh, you're not gonna feel it at the moment, but 4 or 5 months down the road, you're gonna see the deep down on your business because 4 months ago you took it easy, you took off 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and nothing happened at that moment. But then down the road, you're gonna see it. In construction, it's a little bit different. It's more stable than real estate, so I'm still adapting to that. I have some months that I'm closing a lot of deals, and there's some other months that I'm not closing anything. When I look back, oh, I took all this time off. Now it's reflecting. So
Right, right. It's almost like in real estate, you're just planting those seeds and you have to eat the fruit when they grow, right? So, would you say construction though has the field that you were in specifically? Did it have a income cap for you, whereas real estate really didn't? Or would you say they both had no cap?
they both have no cap, honestly. Real estate is easier to escalate than construction.
Right.
You can go as far as you want. Real estate is easier.
Sure, sure. And so, what would be a piece of advice you would give someone who's starting out in real estate?
Go 100% focus, discipline, and look for a good mentor. Look for a good company that have good mentors, because I think I got a lot of mentorship from my broker when I was starting out, and I think that was the right kick out in my career, that I started on the right pace. So that's very important. And get into books, read or listen about real estate, sales, people. Uh, I replace my music for audiobooks. I do mountain biking. I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to books. I'm getting ready. I'm listening to books. I'm driving. I'm listening to books. Uh, and the company that you start off is really important, having that mentorship.
Absolutely. And so out of your mentorship and out of everything you've learned so far, what would be something that this business has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point?
Being patient, being
Patience.
patient, and being obsessed.
Yeah. Patience and obsession. I love it. That's some good stuff. And just to finish it off, what's the biggest challenge you're facing um, going into 2023, and what does 2023 look like for you?
The biggest challenge is for me that I want to escalate and grow faster than I think that I can. Um, 2023 is looking really good for me. I have a lot of commercial developments that are gonna take off in 2023 that I'm working right now. So it's looking pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I think 2023 is going to be a fantastic year. Uh, the market, I feel like, is going to make a huge shift. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, what's the best way, if people want to work with you or contact you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Okay, my name is Sergio Santiago. You can look me that way on Facebook. My Facebook group is Empire Building Realty Group. My brokerage is 16100 Realty. I am in the DFW market. Specifically, my office is in Arlington, North Arlington. and my phone number is 469-412-9398.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your time here on the Winning at Real Estate podcast, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. I really enjoy it.